This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. Katy, Huckle, and I are back together again. It's been a couple of weeks.
I've missed you.
I have missed you too.
Good.
But we're reuniting and with great guests here this morning.
Oh my gosh, Cadillac royalty in
Yes.
the studio. We have what we call the Mayor and the Maestro with us. So we have the sitting mayor of Cadillac, Carla Filkins, with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we have just a sweetheart to the arts community in this town, longtime band director, Mike Filkins, and he has, how many different things have you run in terms of committees and bands and lots?
Oh, gosh. I started in the Cadillac community conducting the Clam Lake Band, the city band, before I was even teaching here.
Okay.
And then I became a teacher for Cadillac schools, and I've been on the Arts Council, and I've helped with coordinating the Festival of the Arts in the summer, and I'm currently the music director for the Cadillac Symphony.
Oh, my goodness.
Busiest retired, quote-unquote, guy we know, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. And, of course, he got called right out of retirement the minute he retired.
Sure.
Yeah, he got called right back to CAPS. We knew that was going to happen. But these two, some days I feel like they're just getting started after Mike retired. I mean, very active with the family. And, of course, not her first term as mayor, proven leader Carla Filkins. But the house doesn't sit ever. Okay. Nobody ever sits still at the Filkins residence. I've been there. I've seen it. Is that true?
It is true.
So
But that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
We love it.
Oh, good. Thank God. Carla, tell us what's going on at the city level.
Well, right now, I think the city is abuzz with the trailhead, the White Pine Trailhead, getting completed. We're very, very excited about that. And then just working on getting ready for the summer season. There's so many activities going on. The farmers market is starting up in a couple of weeks. Jazz in the Park is coming back. We have a new market on Thursday night at the same time that the Jazz Festival is, or the jazz bands are going to be performing. And there's just a lot of really great things on the calendar that we're preparing for, and, getting the parks ready, and all of it's really exciting.
We forget, because we're spoiled, Carla, that we draw people from all over the state, and a lot of that has to do with the amenities that the city offers. The beautiful lakescape, and a lot of that has to do with your leadership. So don't you think sometimes we forget how lucky we are?
I think those of us who live here do forget how lucky we are. But then also, on the other hand, I think that's why we stay here.
Absolutely.
Because we know we can vacation where we live.
Yes. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, isn't it?
It's interesting you bring that up, Carla, because often when I go on vacation, I'm going downstate to visit relatives, and it's on holiday weekends, and there's very few people going my direction. Everybody's coming north, and because they want to be where we are.
Exactly.
And that's awesome.
Exactly.
One thing I think you've done an exceptional job with is access to the lake for everybody. We've got people fishing right downtown on the city dock. We've got music that is free for people to hear during the summer. There's church outside at the pavilion. And like you said, the farmers market's gone wild. And a lot of walkable access between, the library and then the city buildings and that kind of thing.
And all of that has happened over a really long period of time. But it has been really enjoyable, in my time that I've been there, to really create and to foster a place of fellowship, no matter where you are in the city. If you're in the city park, or you're at the boat dock, or you're out at Kenwood, just creating spaces where people can come together and enjoy the beauty of what we have here, and just being together.
Okay, very good. Mike, tell us what's on tap with the Clam Lake Band, with the Arts Festival. What can we look forward to?
Well, the Clam Lake Band started rehearsing about a month ago.
Okay.
And their first concert, I think, is the 11th of July.
Okay.
And then they'll be there every Monday night playing. And last summer, they did this sort of fly by the seat of their pants thing where you just showed up and played. So it was all stuff that we knew really well.
I see.
And we didn't play anything new. And this summer, the opportunity to prepare, we have some new things to share with our audience. With the Clam Lake Band, the Festival of the Arts is coming up soon in about 5 weeks, July 15 and 16. And we've been meeting all winter, getting things ready. I saw we have 62 artist booths sold.
Oh, my goodness.
And which was the big question. They haven't held it live since 2019. So the question was, will people come back? Will the artists come back to, live sales again? And I saw a lot of new names on the list of artists, and that's exciting. We've got wonderful music again. Petoskey Steel Band is playing Friday night as the opening act for the Cadillac Symphony.
Awesome.
And then the Cadillac Symphony will play. The Clam Lake Band is playing Saturday. There's the dancers and there's food. There's an artisans market. Friday night, there's a thing called Art Unwind, and it's a ticket-only event in the market with a wine and cheese and hors d'oeuvres and artists, their art, and a kind of a meet and greet with the artists that'll be displaying during the weekend.
Really cool.
And that'll go on from 6 to 9, and then the market will be taken over the next day with the Children's Create, and it'll be in the market. So the kids will be making things, and they'll be able to make percussion instruments and participate in a little parade Saturday afternoon. So a lot of exciting things.
That's new, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Whose brainchild was that?
Well, Paul Brown is the music guy for, I think, every organization in town. He brings in, and Hiawatha is a very well-known arts festival up in the UP, which is 50, 60 years old. And they always have a, make your own drum kids parade. And so we borrowed the idea from them.
Really good. I know you're a teacher, retired, but we call that copying the homework. Yeah. I love it when you see something that works in another community and says, let's give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to get kids interested in music young, you've got an ulterior motive here, baby. Getting little kids to play instruments young.
Yep.
See how much fun it is.
Got to get them started early. Carla, let's talk about the Mayor's Art Award while we're talking about the Arts Festival. This is something that's been happening for many, many years. Same this year as always?
Nope, we're going to change it a little bit.
Okay.
We're not going to do it on Saturday afternoon when people are all up in the park at the Arts Festival. We're going to do it on Friday evening before entertainment, when all of the people are down at the pavilion eating their dinner and conversing and waiting for the entertainment. So it'll be a lot more visible this year for the artists who are participating, and I think that that's really something special.
How does that work for those who aren't familiar?
Well, the information is out on the city website. Artists can apply for to participate in the Mayor's Award, and there's a first place, second, and third place. And the first place is $450. And if you have the first place honors, then that piece of art comes to the city complex and is displayed there forever and ever.
Awesome.
And, yes. And then there's a second and a third place. And I think it's $100 and then $50. But there will be a special tent set up down where everybody will be mingling on Friday night. And I get to be one of the judges. And then I think we have somebody from the media. There's 3 judges. Cool. And we're going to make it happen on Friday evening. Okay. So, yeah.
Rich, people are pinching pennies right now. Fuel costs, food costs, life costs. All of this is something that people can walk to, enjoy. They don't have to spend a lot of money. The whole family can come. I feel really strongly that we need more things like this for families.
I would agree. There is, I was speaking with somebody who lives in the Cadillac Lofts, and she's relatively new. She's from the media, relatively new to Cadillac in that because we haven't had an arts festival since 2019, she hasn't gotten to experience that weekend. And I was talking to her about the things that we have planned for this year, and she is so excited for that weekend. So there are a lot of new people living downtown in the downtown area that can walk and just enjoy it and not have to, get in their car and go. But certainly, we draw people from all over. And, Mike and the rest of the committee are just being very thoughtful about making it one of the best experiences that they'll have this summer.
Awesome. 62 artists, 62 vendors. Can you fit 62 vendors in the city park?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Even though I think it started out, 50 some odd years ago when they first started it, there was a maximum of 110. And all the trees are much, much bigger now. Much more bigger root systems, larger trunks and that kind of thing. So the space is down to around 90 that they can comfortably fit in there. And but to have 62 after, a COVID hiatus is just really exciting to see, the people coming back. And of course, there'll be food vendors down on Lake Street so that people, they don't have to go anywhere if they want to. But of course, if they want to run up to one of the restaurants, they can get a social district beverage and come down and enjoy what's going on in the park as well.
That's a perfect segue into talking about the social district and how that works for those who are unfamiliar.
Okay. I just wanted to add to what Mike was just talking about. This year we have 60-some vendors, but really the space that we created down there in the Cadillac Commons area, we have room for a whole lot more vendors. We would just, collectively think about what does that footprint look like as it needs to grow.
So at this point, have signups ended, or are you welcoming more?
I believe they're still encouraging more people to come. I know even just a month ago, it was 40 something. So as we get closer, because last year they went until, May and then pulled the plug on it because there just wasn't enough. And so I think there were some people out there that were saying, well, I'm going to wait and see if it really happens. And so now we have more people saying, hey, I'd like to come. And because there's space available, they're still able to enter.
And knock on wood, there's no indication that there wouldn't be a reason for it to happen this year, right?
Right.
Oh,
exactly.
Absolutely. It's so, I don't know if you've been down to the park when this is going on, Rich, but I will tell you, people have their kids in strollers and the dog is tied to the stroller and there's, snow cones. And I mean, it really feels like
Small town USA at its best.
Yes, in the best way. The sun is sparkling off the lake and people are fishing. And I just howled one year. I saw a woman that had bought some sculpture stuff, but then she went back to her car and realized she had a tiny little compact car. She had to call her husband to bring the truck, because you get your appetite. You see unique things that you can't buy on Amazon at this place. And then you want, one of everything. So, yeah, one thing that I'm noticing is I feel like there's a changing of the guard. I feel like we're seeing more young people get involved, and that's exciting. New energy out there, I think.
I would agree.
Okay.
And, thinking along those lines, we have a lot of different volunteer committees of the city, made up of people from the community and maybe a council member or two. And it is really refreshing to see some new, younger volunteers wanting to become involved in the right committees. So
Excellent.
I know that they're not just signing up to be on a committee. They really are going to be able to make a difference. And I think that that's really exciting.
Wow.
And I know moving forward, we're not doing a Freedom Festival this year. That was a casualty of lack of volunteerism. I know they want to do it again next year. And that's where people need to step up and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to make the community better, you know?
You're absolutely right. That's what it's going to take. I mean, we were having a conversation, and 4 years from now, it's going to be the 150th anniversary of the city of Cadillac.
Incredible.
And so, I've talked to a few people about it, and I really want to start planning now.
Yes.
Because things like that take a tremendous amount of thought and volunteerism. And I think that as we start to talk about that, we're going to generate some new volunteers that perhaps can get that Freedom Festival going again, and breathing life back into those activities that mean so much to people in the community.
And there is a space. There's a space downtown. There always was a space, but now it is so much more well utilized than it used to be because of the Cadillac Commons and because of the park. Everything's branded in a way. You got the splash pad down there. It's a wonderful place to be.
It really is. And I think you've done a good job with your logistics, Carla. I mean, I don't drive around the city of Cadillac frustrated about parking. If I need to get to a restaurant, I can get there. I might have to circle the block once, but there are other communities not far from us where you tear your hair out if you want to go to dinner or stop at a boutique or something, because it's going to be 30 minutes or 30 minutes of walking. Pick one.
Exactly.
And so I'm just so grateful for the folks that put the thought into the layout. That matters. And again, with your festival of the 150th year anniversary, it's going to take some thought. It's going to take some planning. And so those folks, and for that, are you going to establish a committee? Is this something that folks should contact you or Marcus, or what do you want that to look like?
Well, it's absolutely very early on,
Sure.
So I bring it up here for the first time in public.
Okay.
But, Mike and I will want to be a part of that, and we are more than willing to help get it going.
Right.
And so, if somebody else is as excited about that as we are, please give us a call. And,
Absolutely.
right out of the gate, we'll just start adding people's names. What are they excited about and what are some of their thoughts? We've got a lot of things happening between now and then, but we can build off of each of those events.
Right.
Yeah, and you were talking about the logistics downtown, and I don't want to hesitate to give a shout out to our community development folks,
Yes.
and Jerry Adams, who's now retired, but he still keeps his hands on things, and he and John Wallace work so good together and bring so much experience and brought so much experience to that whole project that they deserve a lot of that credit.
They sure do. I don't know. Have you ever met Jerry?
I have met Jerry.
Okay.
Yes.
This is a guy, he's so unassuming, but that brain of his is just a going, And so it's fun when we can take somebody who's been in a larger community and done some big work, and they choose us. And then we say, if you could just work with us on a couple of things, and we get the best of the best that way. I mean, how many times has that happened in town?
Yeah, it happens often.
I know, we're lucky. We're lucky.
We touched on this for a second, but downtown social district, I wanted you to cover that.
yes.
For
Yes,
those of,
absolutely.
Yeah, so how does that work?
Well, we have different businesses in town who have come on board and want to be a part of it. And it isn't that we're just opening the floodgates and allowing people to drink in open spaces, but we are doing it in a organized manner. And if a business wants to be a part of the social district, they're certainly, they've come on board and they're excited about it. And folks can go in and they can buy an alcoholic beverage, and it has to be in the container that it's sold in to be able to walk around downtown in the social district from, business to business, or down in the park to listen to a concert, or on a park bench, picnic table. We just want people to come down and, be able to do business downtown and enjoy the commons area.
All right. Next question. I heard you mention the Cadillac Lofts before. Second phase coming up soon. Where do we stand on that?
It's in the works.
Okay.
They got the old building down, and of course, COVID kind of backed some things up with dollars that were available for the project. So everybody has to get back in the packing order to get everything in place to be able to start on their projects. And that's true not only for the Lofts, but for some other developments that are going on in town. There's still a go, but, we don't know the exact timeline, but it's coming.
Carla, big goal, and congratulations on the White Pine Trailhead. That was something that you championed and that you made happen. And what's next? And what else is out there in your, I got to check that off my list?
Well, we're always out there at the Michigan Municipal League events and educational sessions, and always kind of keeping our ear to the ground on what local industry and what the people in this community want to see. So we don't have anything ripe right now, new that people haven't seen, but we certainly think about our city docks.
Okay.
That one day they're going to need to be replaced. So, that's out there, I think. And it's always, as we think about these different things that need to be done in the community, of course, we have to think about the financing that goes with that. And,
Absolutely.
And how we can make that happen. So those wheels are turning. And, just know that we love hearing those ideas come in, and the city staff is so good about, when they hear them, they put it in this, folder up here, and they, prioritize things. So there is one thing that I wanted to share that I think is pretty exciting. This year, the Michigan Association of Mayors, which I'm a part of, is holding their annual conference here in Cadillac.
Good job, boss lady. I love
Nice.
it. Bring them to town.
For the first time.
Wonderful.
And so we're really excited. They're going to be here the first week in August, and they're going to be here from Wednesday to Friday. And they're staying at Evergreen and having their meetings there at Evergreen. But then we're bringing them out in the evenings to experience the Cadillac Commons and the things that are going on in the community, the jazz concert, and we're going to have dinner down at the Willow. And we really want to show off the community. And I am just so proud to be able to do that and have the mayors of Michigan here in Cadillac.
And
Very
you'll
exciting.
You'll have the night market on Thursday. You'll have
Yes.
the farmers market that Friday.
That's
So there will
correct.
be a lot of things going on in town anyway.
That's correct. It's
I
perfect.
want it to be like a Norman Rockwell painting, Carla. Now let's make this happen. I want everyone to be on their best behavior in town.
You're in charge of that.
Okay, yeah. Well, let me work on it. But
Yeah.
no, really, I mean, I'm going to bake a cake and have you do a mayor's drawing, and someone's going to get a Katy cake because we want to show them our very best. We're so blessed to live here, and thank you for showing off Cadillac for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about housing, Carla? Obviously, there are issues with people, and I work at 9 and 10. 9 and 10 wants to bring in reporters. They want to bring in producers from out of town, college-trained folks, having a hard time finding places to live. Tell me a little bit about what the city is trying to do in that arena.
Absolutely. And housing is not unique to Cadillac.
No, it's
the
not.
housing situation is all over.
Yes.
But I will tell you that what the city is doing is that there are developers out there in discussion with us. They're wanting to invest in Cadillac. They're wanting to create housing. And there are things going on right now that are doing just that.
I know that I read that there is a move to convert the old Cooley School into apartments potentially. The area above the old Speeds potentially becoming a restaurant and apartments. So
All of those,
lots
yes.
of exciting things.
Yes. The Speeds project was one that I was referring to earlier, where with COVID and changes that are happening within different organizations, but I think that that's moving forward. And you're right. There's going to be a fine dining restaurant downstairs, and then there will be apartments, lofts upstairs. With the loft, it's going to be a building that looks just like the first one, except there are going to be some apartments that are on the ground floor. So that one's going to look just a little bit different. It's going to be a mirror of the first building, but with some housing on the main level.
Feels very urban, doesn't it, Rich?
Yeah.
It does, and I like the way it looks. I would love to see those bottom floor areas get rented out and become businesses at some point. I know
Right.
that there's a lot of discussion about that, but and maybe another business with a John's in the title. I'm not sure. But.
Well, I don't know that we need that,
No, I'm
but
kidding.
Mike and I were in Ann Arbor recently, and we were down. I can't think of what was the Carytown. And we were so impressed by what they've done with this old building. But down on the first level of it, they have like little organic markets. And I think that would be just something really, I am always looking for ideas, something
Sure.
new. And,
Yeah.
you could get anything you needed if that's the way you wanted to shop.
Right.
And you could, go back upstairs. But anybody could certainly utilize it if it was there. But, just thinking about new businesses that could go in there.
One of the things that I've loved about Carla for years is her willingness to listen. And so green light thinking is what I call, like, what about this idea and this idea and this idea? And I appreciate that so much about you as a leader, that nobody's ideas get poo-pooed, that you're willing to listen to everyone. It's really important.
That's where it all starts.
Do you ever go on vacation and just completely unplug? Because it sounds to me like you are making notes in just about every community that you visit.
We do.
Mike is
If
shaking
you
his
looked,
head.
if you looked at the pictures on our phones, you would be like, "Where is this?" We were doing it. We were up in Marquette just this past weekend, and we got a lot of great ideas.
Awesome. Mike has a tradition that's so cool. I suppose the tradition probably ended when he retired, but the seniors in the band, these guys are really good cooks. I mean, there's not very many people that can trump me in the food gadget department, and he's got me like big time. Way cooler stuff than I have. But anyway, so the band seniors get to come over to the Filkins residence for a senior band dinner and roll out all the stops. And I thought, I was raised by teachers, and I can tell you by the end of the school year, they've had enough. Mm-hmm. So when Mike explained that they do this, I'm like, are you kidding me? They all come over to your house for dinner. So anyway, I want to quick touch base with you, Mr. Filkins, we're talking about what she's got on tap. If you could see anything happen in the arts community, anything, and money was no object, what would you want?
Oh boy. Obviously a fine arts center.
Okay.
Would be, and I've heard quotes, 10 to 15 million.
Oh boy.
In order to build a freestanding fine arts center that has, space for art shows and has a kitchen, because cooking is not only an art, and so it's appropriate, for cooking classes and that kind of thing, but
Sure.
it also allows people to, cater events, that kind of thing. And you start thinking about, a performance space that can seat 500 people and dressing rooms and all that kind of thing. It's really hard to find that around here. And of course, a unique thing that's going on right now is like the Cadillac Symphony, starting November of this year, 2022, that concert is the first of our 50th season.
Awesome.
And for the May concert, we don't have any place to play it because they're renovating the auditorium.
Oh boy.
So,
Right.
You start thinking, boy, if there was a freestanding fine arts center, this would, we wouldn't be impacted by that. I don't know if it's ever possible.
Is there a chance maybe you move to the Ellen Boss in McBain as the Footlighters did, at least temporarily?
Well, sure. We've talked about that. And the trick with our concerts being when they are is it's the same time that schools put in heavy use in their auditoriums. May is a sometimes a tough month just because there's so many school activities. But
Right.
So we are looking into it, though.
Right. Okay. Well, if we have a generous listener out there, we'd like a freestanding fine arts center. Pretty please, from Mr. Filkins. How about that?
You're not looking at any existing facilities and thinking those could be repurposed into that at this point. Really, there's not much out there to choose from, right?
Right. And the key problem has always been the auditorium.
Okay.
You could, for example, Crooked Tree Art Center in Petoskey is an old church. And they have a performance space, but like most churches, it seats about 150 people. So it's a very specific kind of performance, but certainly not a city band, city chorus, city orchestra concert, where they require not only a bigger stage, but more space for an audience also. And that's where the problem is in looking at a space to move into, like they did. They do a lot of things there at their Fine Arts Center, but they don't have big concerts. They don't have big musicals and things like a lot of our performances here are.
Capacity.
Right. And you want to have something that will seat 500 or more.
Right.
I just need to say thank you so much for the energy and leadership you bring our little town. You can never be done. I mean, I'm sorry you're going to be doing this when you're 90 years old, because just the institutional knowledge between the two of them, right? But really, I mean, you get done with work, Carla, and your work is just starting, and you're just like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, I don't think she sleeps, Rich. I don't think she sleeps at night. But we do need to say thank you for just being relentless volunteers and for being so proactive and positive for Cadillac.
We're happy to do it. It's been an honor.
We love our community.
The Mayor and the Maestro.
On Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank. Join us next week, same time, same station, for more local chat on Cadillac Unscripted. Mike and Carla, thank you very much. 107.9 CDY.